Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts, coming to you from Jefferson City, Missouri. That's the capital. Today, returning to Spotlight on the Arts, entertainer, songwriter, and more, Hambo Latham. Mr. Latham, welcome back to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm truly excited once again to turn the spotlight on you today.
Well, I got to tell you, you don't know what a pleasure this is for me to come back here. You know, it's a great opportunity and it's a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you again. Well, you know, you was last with us on Mid-Missouri Art News on February the 14th. Year 2018.
That's right.
So I know a lot has happened in the past, I'm sure. I've heard good news about your entertainment and what have you. So these last 23 months, I'm going to ask you first to bring us up to date on your interesting life with a few questions, and I'll just basically turn it over to you, if you will. First, please give us the viewers, should we say, a look at how you became inspired to be an entertainer.
Entertainers have this certain thing within them. Entertainers that stay a long time, they may be famous or not famous. It's the breed entertainer. It's something inside you. You can't hide from it. You can't run from it. You either are or you aren't. And with me, it just was. And I've spent a lifetime doing this, and I'm living the dream. I can't imagine a life any different than what I have.
Yes. Well, you know, Hambo, I talk to a lot of young people, and that want to get started in the business as a singer, performer, what have you. And I always try to talk about certain levels of, shall we say, that a person can reach. You may have the best lawn in your neighborhood, and you're known for that. Mm-hmm. In the entertainment industry especially, what have you, we have different levels. Now you can sometimes get lucky or have a great opportunity where there's funds available to shoot to the top. But we each, like yourself, has reached a level where you're known worldwide with your entertainment and your performances. You and I meeting the first time in Japan. So I'm just really honored to really touch base with you again and have you here at the round table. Well, these, if you can you kind of give us an idea of what's happened as far as your performances that stand out in your mind that's taken place these last 23 months?
These last 23 months, now I'm living the real dream. For most of my life, I chased it pretty hard. And then I came to Jeff City Jeff City, Whole Summit is where I live. And I moved to this area, and it was time for me to react to what was left for me, or I'd been on the road forever. And
how many years?
This past September, or October, I'm sorry, this past October the 15th was 60 years.
60 years.
Yeah, and don't you think I look incredible for 60 years?
Well, yes, yes.
Yeah, but you go through different phases. You go through the I'm going to be it. Mm-hmm. Then you go through, well, maybe I'm not going to be it, but I just approached it the wrong way. Let me try this. And so you try this and you try this, when in reality, it's something, if we're talking about hitting the big time, the really, really, really big time superstardom, there's a lot of things that come into play that no one has control of. There's not a single soul that actually produced a star that was born on this at this time, and they look at this person and say, you're going to be a star. That's not the way it works. You got to be on the right stool at the malt shop. You got to sing your song at the right garage. You know, there's just so many things that happen. And then somebody's got to like you. And they don't have to like you because you're pretty. They just got to like you.
Well, celebrating today, Elvis Presley's 85th birthday. We want to mention that. And I was always a follower. Sister actually saw him in person. I understand you did get to.
I did.
And that was quite an experience. So I understand that you had some second thoughts before seeing the man walk on stage.
Well, at that point in my life, I was making a living playing music. And I had this attitude that I wasn't going to show out for anybody. You know, I was in Shoney's in Nashville, and Waylon Jennings walked in, and everybody in my crew, they went gaga, and I had a little trouble calming him down. I said, no, he makes his living the same way we do.
And Waylon's like a brother to me before he passed.
Yeah, I mean, great guy.
I can identify with that.
Great guy. You know, but so I never would go silly over anybody. But that day that I saw Elvis Presley, I got my seat, and I didn't think anything was going to happen. But he showed up just like he was supposed to. When he stepped on stage, something happened to the barometric pressure on Mars, and I screamed louder, I cried harder, I jumped bigger than anybody in the building. He was incredible.
And you was all shook up.
I was all shook up. I loved him. I did. I loved Elvis Presley.
Now, all that we take inside even my own personal gains and peaks, here we say, in life and entertainment, still booking entertainment and working with them. We have to have that a little bit. It kind of inspires our heart, gets it beating a little bit faster. So I can identify even at my level also. Now, we're talking about these last 23 months. I didn't want to interrupt you with Elvis there, but these last 23 months, what's really happened that stands out in your mind, that turned this around maybe for you these last 23 months?
The last 23 months, I have become more of a local guy than I ever was in my life. And it's had greater rewards than when I was trying to be somebody else.
I see.
And it is a great pleasure for me to go out and entertain one night and then run into somebody in the grocery store the next day. You know, it's wonderful. And so I've moved myself into a smaller arena. I have no desire to go to St. Louis, much less Tokyo. You know, I'm a home guy now, and I'm totally happy with it. I live with 3 dogs and a pretty good cat, and I don't know how it gets any better than that. Exactly.
Well, I want to let you all know that Hambo will be singing a couple of selections after the break, so you want to stick around for that. Next, I would like to ask him, have you changed your format or your music at all these last 23 months?
No, I have not. I came with a conviction from day one that I was going to play a certain time music. I'm in a time bubble and I can't get out. I grew up in the 50s. I still play the songs I played in the 50s. And it has just grown. If you play, I'm totally nostalgia. All I play is nostalgia, and if you come to see me, what you're going to hear is you're going to hear the songs that you grew up with, but then pretty soon I'm going to hit that particular song that's from a one-hit wonder that everybody forgot about, and no one does except me. And that becomes a very pleasant experience for people.
Right. Now, you're a songwriter also. You have certain songs.
I wrote 42. Well, I wrote 32,000 songs in my life and lost them all. I don't know where they are.
I see.
The old saying is they're under beds and in trash cans and here there, and that's probably true. But they just kind of make their way somewhere else. But I wrote a lot of songs. Notable are 42 songs that I wrote that are in the archives of BMI. Right. And that's a statement that stands by itself. In the world that I'm living in now, I'm a relic because I don't understand the internet and how that works. Instead, I understand how it used to work. And so I'm there on music too. But yeah, I've wrote a lot of songs. 42 of them published, and some of them done nationally on television, some of them national radio play.
Right. Now, you've had opportunities for that young songwriter or performer, especially the songwriter. You've had opportunities in the past to write songs for major talent that we grew up with, and still some of them are still around. You might, if you could, in your own words, tell people how that works once in a while. And, you know, I understand there's a couple car makers that had automobiles that they had put on paper and tried to sell. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, General Motors or Ford was trying to buy them and did buy them, but they never showed up on the market. Now, this is something that you could identify with as a songwriter, and how that happens even in the entertainment songwriter arena.
Well, when you're talking about a major star, they come from wherever they come from, and then pretty quick they're just writing all these wonderful songs.
Yes.
And I, you know, it's hard for me to figure out how you can actually do that, because with me it had to be, all of the songs I wrote were actually, they were mostly about an experience that I had or something that I saw personally. And that was likewise with all the way from Hank Williams to Jimmy Rogers in the 20s. It was a Jimmy Rogers song from the 20s tells about how it was, tells about the misery. Hank Williams songs, that was about people. You know, people's songs will never go away.
Right. Well, Hambo, time is flying already. It goes so fast. So we've got to take a break. And when we come back, Hambo will be singing a couple of selections and bring you even more up to date on what to look for in the year 2020. So please make yourself comfortable while we look at these special messages. We'll be right back.
What do you guys want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
1, 2, ready, go. Gonna pull the stops, gonna make it go. You're living on a wing and a prayer. Gonna put them things together. You know it's now or never.
Welcome back to Spotlight on the Arts. We return now with our special guest, returning to Spotlight on the Arts, Hambo Latham. Sure good to have you back, Hambo. You know, before the break, you shared a lot of information. So let's continue along those lines of thought and expression. But take a look a little bit into the future. I'd like to ask you first, what are your plans now for 2020?
For 2020, I'm going to keep working the way that I did in 19, except I'm going to spend a little more time prior to and after the shows with the people who came to see me. I'd like to do that. I'd like to have a little more time on both ends of the show. But as far as what I'm doing, I'm going to keep it up, because I have my audience. I have my cars are trained to take me where I need to go. I'm years ahead of Uber. My cars, they just know where to go.
I hear you. And like a good horse, they return to the barn probably.
They do. Yeah.
They get you home when you're so tired afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your itinerary and those locations, let's say in the immediate future here in 2020, we've got 12 months to cover. What do you have planned? Where can people see you?
If somebody wants to see me, they could come down in Jefferson City, you can come to Windstone.
Jefferson City, Missouri?
Yeah, Jefferson City, Missouri. You come down to Windstone Event Center. It's an incredible place. It's an incredible people that run it, and it's an incredible audience that comes there.
And where's that at? In Jefferson City,
it's on Industrial Drive in Jefferson City, and local lore says that it is next door to Mel's Diner.
Oh, yes, Mel's Diner. We cannot forget that.
Mel's Diner.
And you're there on Friday?
I'm there on Thursday evenings, and we just have a great time.
No. You spoke earlier about Gene Watson out of the past. Are you going to showcase him again this year?
Gene Watson was at Windstone last year, yeah, and I emceed the show, and of course I had met him before, and
Yes.
and he'll be back again in April, and then
At Windstone.
yeah, at Windstone. Windstone has a celebrity. I'm the only person that's actually scheduled at Windstone. No one else has a schedule there except me.
Excellent.
I think that's kind of an honor.
Oh, I definitely have to attend.
Yeah,
Super. So that basically is it. Windstone.
It's in Jefferson City. If you want to come down, if you come down the lake area, there's several places that I wind up there. I work in Camdenton at the VFW. You know, until you get a lot of miles on you, you never think of as VFW as being a viable place. But Johnny Rodriguez is coming to town. Who everybody knows who that is, and you know where he works in Texas? VFW.
VFW.
Yeah.
Right.
So Hambo works at VFW in Camdenton, Missouri.
Right.
And we have a great time. I'm there on Tuesday nights. On Friday nights, I'm in Columbia at a VFW. So why am I playing VFW so much? Because I love the people there. I love the audience. Yeah, and it's open to the public. Absolutely. We have a great time. And then I work around the lake quite a bit. You know, I've been, it's rumored that I'm in and out of the Elks Lodge over at Laurie, which that'd be true. And I just kind of play wherever it presents itself.
Well, can you just give us a brief idea of the lands of the world that you've performed on? We talked about Tokyo, but I know you've covered vast territories with the shows of the what did they call them back in the day? USO, I believe.
Yeah,
they called it.
USO. Yeah,
Yes.
I toured. The difference between USO and Department of Defense Professional Entertainment, that's two entities that does the same thing, really.
I see.
But Department of Defense was congressionally approved funds, and when you left the United States, you were in the hands and the arms of the government. No matter where you went, you were under, you know, they just took care of everything. USO, on the other hand, you have military support, you have governmental support, but you usually have a sponsor. And I've traveled both ways, and through it all, in all of the years that I was a part of those programs, I've done 38 tours, I've done 13 world tours, and when it was all said and done and I came home, I had 45 countries I'd played in.
Oh my.
And so when you say the ground, well, I don't know. Do you want to narrow that down to a country or two?
No, I think I don't think we have time to name them
Probably
all.
not. But I will say this. I will say this. In being able to do what I done, and that was a God's blessing to be able to do that to start
Yes.
with. That defined me as an American, and it defined me as a human being.
And a supporter of the troops.
Oh yes, the troops.
And still
but
support.
even the people where you go, you know,
yes.
I've seen people in all manner of conditions. You know, I've seen rich people, I've seen poor people, I've seen poor people beyond description.
Oh my.
You know, it was just a wonderful experience that I was allowed to do.
Excellent. Well, without further ado, let's turn to Hambo Latham, who has a couple songs for us to perform, share with you. I'll let you intro those, if you
Okay.
will.
All right, I'll just do that. I got this song that was a true life experience. You know, all songwriters, they write true life experience, whether they admit it or
Sure,
not. They
from the
really
heart.
do. And this surrounded a thunderstorm, a rained out event, no money, and had to get to the next town. And there was a very famous person that wanted this song, and I wanted him to have it, but we just couldn't get together, so I still own the song. And I call it The Music Maker. And it'll be self-explanatory. Well, it was raining out of Memphis, and it seemed it never stopped. Guess it really didn't matter, it's just another parking lot. But he might have sold some records, and he might have made some friends. Makes him really stop and wonder about this business that he's in. He's got $27, and the gas tank's nearly dry. If he makes it to St. Louis, he'll have another try. If the folks there likes his music, and the weather lets him play, then the music maker's happy, he'll have another day. He's just reaching for the heavens, but the devil's on his toes. It just seems with music makers, that's the way it always goes. When he's singing songs of happy, nobody ever knows if they've seen the music maker, he's opened up his soul. He might have been somebody, but he started mighty young. He was standing out on center stage, 1961. He's played the bars and night spots and a parking lot or two. And when his bones start aching, he wonders what to do. Sometimes he'd like to settle down, maybe have a home. He was born a music maker, he'll always have to roam. He's just reaching for the heavens, but the devil's on his toes. It just seems with music makers, that's the way it always goes. When he's singing songs of happy, nobody ever knows if they've seen the music maker, if he's opened up his soul. Thank you. You know, songs today are still about people. Too many of them involve the pickup truck and a can of beer and that. You know, beer every once in a while is pretty good. Pickup trucks are wonderful. I have one. But the songs that I grew up with, that you grew up with, and that most people grew up with, they come from real people, real situations. And I played my share of places. You know, I've got places that nobody else had the opportunity to play that I knew except me. But then I played a couple of bars too. And here's something I seen in a bar. On ladies' night at the bar, you could see him. He's working late or spending time with the boys. And a few years removed, he was a man on the move, and he acts like he's still on the go. He's making time with a lady that reminds him of someone he knew way back when. He should go on home, but he'd be there alone, even though it's near closing time. And he'll drift out his life with a love in disguise, hanging on for reasons unknown. She's overtime with her job at the office, but the kids are with the sitter tonight. And a few hours away could make the world seem okay. And she's lonesome in her own kind of way. She sits and dreams of the one who could hold her and make her know how true love should feel. She's got her heart on her sleeve. Lord, she needs to be free. But for now, she's just hanging on. And she'll drift out her life with a love in disguise, hanging on for reasons unknown. Yeah, they'll drift out their lives with a love in disguise, hanging on for reasons unknown. Just hanging on for reasons unknown.
For reasons unknown. Great.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. I so enjoyed that. That's super. Well, my goodness. Do you have a website, an email people could contact you at in case they would like to have you sing at a wedding reception, or if you're available for those things or for future bookings.
Well, given the time available, I'm wide open. You can get a hold of me at Hambo Latham on Facebook. I really don't have a website because I'm not smart enough and I don't have time to really maintain a website.
I understand.
And so I'm available in Facebook. My email is hambolatham@yahoo.com. My telephone number is 573-645-5081, and I answer it most of the time.
Excellent, excellent. Well, as a final inspirational note, I guess, is there anything you could tell a young person or someone that's just beginning, wanting to become an entertainer? Do you have any words of inspiration or guidance that you could put forth?
If you really feel it in your soul, and if it's burning your belly, don't try to cure it with water or liquid of any kind. Pack your bag, go to work, and give yourself to it, and it'll happen.
And work it, I guess
Work
you're
it.
saying. Great. Well, Hambo, we're just about out of time. So do you have any closing words you'd like to tell our viewers at this time?
Well, you know, I got to say that the support that I've had coming off the road and becoming what I am has been tremendous. And I can't thank the people who come to see me enough. Just can't. You know, and wisdom. You can tell by look at me, I'm not smart enough to really give wisdom. You know, but life is good. Live it. That's my
Well,
whole
thank
thing.
you once again for being at Spotlight on the Arts. It's been great.
Oh, thank
to
you.
have
This has been a great time. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, and I want to thank all the viewers and naturally our producer, Gloria Enlow, and the crew here at JCTV, as limited as it is. It's still a great effort that's put forth to bring you Spotlight on the Arts, JCTV in Jefferson City, Missouri. And don't forget, tune in on YouTube, worldwide now. And do thank those viewers worldwide for tuning in. So I'm Rick J saying, keep us in mind and see you next time.